Well, welcome to the 7 o'clock talk. I am actually taking a short break right now while I make myself something to eat. Otherwise, I am human as well, and I will eat poorly. Jessica's not with me tonight because I'm doing homework. I have an assignment that is due for the Institute for Functional Medicine, and so I'm getting the last of that written up. But we're going to take a moment here to answer some questions that patients have been asking, and it keeps coming up. And so the question is, why do we change the nutrition programs that we put people on? Why do we change what people eat? And why do we change the different programs while in the actual um, program? And the reason why we do that is the whole idea behind getting healthy is not so you deny yourself all the time. You want to actually, what we want to do is help you actually open up your diet so that you can enjoy a variety of things, not just be doing an elimination diet. You can't live on an elimination diet for a long period of time. If the only thing you can do is eat several things, and if you vary from those, you get stomach aches or you have problems or whatever the case may be, then what happens to you is you have a lot of stuff to address. And if you don't address the dysbiosis or the infection or whatever the problem is, that will continue to slide. And I have a patient right now that is to the point that she has changed her microbiome beautifully. And as she has changed her microbiome beautifully, we want to open up her diet. Now, she is an elderly lady, and as being over 70 years old, she wants to maintain weight, and she's afraid that if she goes off of what we have been doing, that she's going to lose weight. She's one of those lucky people who needs to actually gain weight. And so we started out with an elimination diet. Actually, we didn't start her with an elimination diet. She needed to gain weight. And when we did the blood tests, we saw problems in insulin and we saw problems in blood sugar and several other things. So we needed to actually up her insulin response. And we got her to gain 8 pounds over a course of time, and that's doing well. But now that we want to get her to where she's healthier, because we're talking about a thin woman that is eating about 3,500 calories a day. And when I went into the nutritional consult with the dietitian, I'm like, we have to do something different here because she's eating like it's her job. And no, it's fun for a while, but then that just gets kind of old. So what ends up happening is we have actually, evening, Kath. Um, what we've done is we've actually taken her, and she wanted to go do some food testing, and she noticed that when she was prepping for a uh, endoscopy, that she felt great. And then when she started to reintroduce the nuts and things, she started to feel poor. And so she's like, I'm going to go get some food testing. That's great. If you want to go get food testing, that's fabulous. And at this point in time in her treatment schedule, she's healed up her gut. She's gotten rid of a lot of stuff. She's doing things that she needs to be doing. But food testing early on in a treatment program will give you problems because if you have a leaky gut, you're sensitive to everything. And that's why I say if you're eating stuff and you find that, let's say you find those things that you can eat and they are wonderful and you're doing great. But if you stay on those and you have a leaky gut, you will eventually have problems with those things because you will start to mount antibodies to those. So you have to fix these things. I'm doing a write up on a case study right now that the patient is actually in her 40s. And as she is in her 40s, she's eating on average about 1,000 calories a day and she continues to gain weight. So you need to ask yourself a question. If you are somebody who is 5'7" and you're eating 1,000 calories a day, you're exercising, doing heavy weights 3 times a week, you're walking, you're doing everything that you can do to lose weight, and you're not losing weight, and you have other GI symptoms, it's only a matter of time before that 1,000 calories that you're eating starts to have a reaction. And we see it all the time. Now, the good thing is she's been doing a gut repair and she's not having those types of issues now, but we're still having a problem with an occult infection. So she started the program before we had the GI map and Neomics, and we're going to go through the GI map and Neomics, and we're going to start to see what we have in there that we need to get rid of. But I am cooking tonight because I also wanted to show you guys, hey, we're all human, and we all get caught in those times when we don't have anything to eat. And you know what? It doesn't take much to keep something in the refrigerator. And I keep a little grass-fed protein in the refrigerator or in the freezer. I thawed it out today because I kind of thought I wasn't going to get this lab report done. And I knew it was going to be a late night. The only thing I didn't do is I had to scrounge. Luckily, I always have greens and stuff. And I had to scrounge for those greens. And I'm just making myself a very light taco salad. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't take a lot to prepare something that's pretty good. Now, I do have iceberg lettuce, and iceberg lettuce tends to be not very nutritionally dense. But I sauteed some onions, and I just threw the garlic in here. I let the garlic sit for about 10 minutes. Here's a pro tip. If you're eating garlic and you want garlic to have the most antioxidant, anti-cancer, and all of that stuff, then you want to chop your garlic up and let it sit for about 10 minutes because that raises the antioxidant. It's actually called insulin. It raises that in the garlic, making it even more potent for you. And then I added some herbs because herbs are the most nutritionally dense. And had I really had time to do things, I probably actually would have added some like liver in here because liver or organ meats are the most nutritionally dense food. But getting back to opening up diets, life is to be enjoyed. I do have an issue with modern society. Our food system is absolute crap. And when we're young, we're all kinds of resilient and we can bounce back from eating McDonald's or Taco Bell or whatever the case may be all the time. As you get older, you lose that resilience and body burden becomes heavier and heavier. And so then you start to get skin rashes. We're starting to see PCOS in younger and younger females. And so these are all things that are directly related to food. And if you don't think that food affects you, why does a medical doctor give you a pill by the mouth? Same route, goes right into the mouth, gets into the stomach, gets broken down, and you absorb it. And that's how food works. So why wouldn't you use food as your medicine? And so you can actually use food as an elimination diet in the beginning to figure out what you're sensitive to. Then as you heal yourself up, You can go back and try to test foods that you were sensitive to before to see if they're going to help you. But if not, you know, you can't live on these small things of food. There is a way to get out of these conundrums, and that way has been shown to be functional medicine. And there are practitioners everywhere that practice this. If you don't have one that's near you, or if you're not near me, just go to the IFM and type in, go look for a practitioner, and they will find you a local doctor so you can go in and see them. We can also do it virtually. But life is meant to be experienced and enjoyed. And so I don't want people living on a very restrictive diet. I don't want people to, if they want to have a drink, never have a drink. I don't want people to, if you want a piece of cake and you're not celiac, you should be able to take the hit of a little gluten. But it depends on how much damage you've done to yourself before you can go have that piece of cake before it won't bother you. So, a good analogy is think about going in debt. If you're going in debt, you have to quit spending first. That's the elimination part. Then you have to start paying off the debt. That's the part where you're doing things to heal the gut up. Then you can start to save, and that's that repopulation. And then, if once you have a good savings and everything is done, then you can go out and you can go splurge. And health is no different than that. So here's to you. Having the chance to become the best version of you will help you heal from the inside out. I have to finish cooking this, and then I got to get back to work. You all have a wonderful evening. PCOS. Oh, Susan, PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it is a hormonal disruption. So, very rarely do people get a problem in one portion of, in functional medicine, we break them down to nodes. You have the assimilation node, you have the defense and repair, which is immune. Assimilation is your GI health. Defense and repair is your immune system. Energy is your mitochondria and also the microbiome and how you produce energy. Then you have biotransformation and elimination, which is like detox, think the liver and getting stuff out. Then you can move down to transport, which is the cardiovascular and lymph system, and then communication. Very rarely will you have just a hormonal problem. That's why we've gone from using like the micro or the Biome-FX, we've gone from the Biome-FX into using the GI map because it looks at multiple nodes through the lens of a functional medicine doctor. So you can sit there and look at going into the, let me turn this off for a minute. You can look at, do you have an infection? If you have an infection, okay, we got to clear the infection out. Is your biome off to the point that you don't have the Bacteroides, the Firmicutes? Do you not have keystone species like Akkermansia or some Prognitzi one? I can't pronounce it. These are all very important. And the nodes of the matrix, if you go back a few videos, the nodes of the matrix are all intertwined. So if you have a problem with assimilation, you're not going to break down your nutrients. You're not going to absorb the cholesterol that it takes to fuel the hormones, the thyroid gland, the adrenals, the ovaries. Those things aren't going to get, they're not going to get what they need. If you have a problem with assimilation, you'll probably have problems with defense and repair. Your immune system is not going to get the things that it needs, like copper and zinc and other immune modulating minerals, because you can't absorb it. Then your energy is going to be low because you just don't have the proteins, fats, and carbs that it takes to break down into glucose to throw into the Krebs cycle so that you can produce energy. So it's all intertwined, and you have to go through and you have to tease these things out. You have to start working with all of the nodes of the matrix so that you can get everything working together, so that you go to the bathroom regularly, you produce your hormones, your thyroid is working, all of these things happen. And that's the process that I've been in, working on myself and working on Jessica and working on my functional medicine patients. It's a process of literally taking the onion and peeling away a layer and peeling away a layer and peeling away a layer until we get down to the point that we are good. And that's the other thing. I've had a couple functional medicine patients now that have peeled back multiple layers of the onion, and they're like, I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm good. I don't want to do any more testing. I just want to go live life, and I'll see you when I have a problem again. And so that's fine. If you're satisfied and you're having a great time, go have at it. With that all being said, I have to get back to work. Have a great evening.